Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So the purpose of starting this channel was to help students who are preparing for JEE and in fact let them know what mistakes I made during my preparation so that they don't end up committing the same mistakes. So in the last video I discussed all the mistakes which I made during my preparation. In this video I'll be discussing what mistakes I made while I was attempting the JEE paper, what tips and tricks I received from my teachers, from my friends. I'm going to put out all that in this video. So let's start. So before I discuss with you what mistakes I made during I attempted with my JEE examination, I would like to start off with some tips and tricks which my teachers told me before I sat for the actual examination. So the first most important thing is to have a proper strategy, to have a proper action plan. If you don't know in what order you will be attempting the examination, how you will be attempting the examination, which questions would you be dealing with first, it will become much difficult for you. You will definitely end up messing your examination, and just what I did in my JEE advanced examination. There were a lot of easy questions which I could have which I could have solved easily. Just because I did not have a proper action plan, proper strategy, I missed out on those and I end up messing my examination completely. So that's what you shouldn't do at all. You should definitely have a strategy, and a strategy is usually built by giving mock tests. You have to just play hit and try. You have to do experiments while you are giving your mock test, and on the basis of those experiments you have to decide how exactly you have to attempt the examination. So as we go through this video, I think you'll be able to build a strategy. So the first tip which my teachers always used to give me is to scan the papers and finish off the easy questions before you move on to the moderate or difficult questions. Even in JEE Advanced there are easy questions, and easy questions are the ones to target first. As soon as you sit for the examination, depending on what subject you are comfortable with, you may choose that subject first and then start attempting the easy questions first. Finish off those easy questions first. There are a lot of questions which are literally freebies, so you don't want to end up missing on those questions. Just imagine how frustrating would it be if you come out of the examination hall and see, oh, this question was extremely easy, I could have solved it within a matter of seconds, and you ended up missing out on that question just because you did not attempt the paper in a proper order. There are many questions in especially inorganic chemistry which you just have to tick. They take only a few seconds. So first finish off those questions which are extremely easy. After you are done attempting the easy questions, it's now time that you move on to the moderate questions. Moderate questions are those which require some calculation, some formula application, and a very basic application of concepts. So once you are done with those easy questions, it's now time that you start attempting the moderate questions. Once you are done with both the easy and moderate questions, if time permits, you may now jump on to the difficult questions. Now there are few questions, if there are 30 questions, there may be 2 or 3 or 4 questions which are quite difficult, which require concepts from 2 to 3 different topics, and you need to be extremely good at those topics in order to be able to solve that question. So if you think that you have managed to solve the easy and moderate problems, you can now very comfortably switch on to the hard problems. Once you move on to the hard problems, just see which problems are within your reach and start attempting them. Now another important point is the order in which you attempt your examination. Now different students might prefer attempting the paper in different order depending on the strengths and weaknesses, but I'll share with you what order I think is the best and what order I used to follow while I attempted my JEE examination. I always used to attempt mathematics first. Why? Because mathematics takes time. You need to invest time in order to be able to extract the output from mathematics. There are a lot of problems which can just be solved by analysis. You don't require much of brute force calculations. You don't require to solve the problem in the way it has to be solved. You can just probably arrive at a solution by plugging in the coordinates. You can use multiple ways. So there are a lot of methods which you can use in solving mathematics problem. So the more time you spend in mathematics, the more questions you will be able to solve. So in my opinion, you should take up mathematics first. Now chemistry is another important subject which I was extremely weak at, and I normally took up chemistry after I took up mathematics. I took up physics at the end because I was comfortable with physics. I did not need much time to solve physics, so I was quite confident that I'll be able to solve physics. So I would always used to attempt mathematics first, followed by chemistry. So one important tip that my teacher always used to give me is that don't spend more than 45 minutes in attempting the chemistry examination, in attempting the chemistry section of the examination, because in chemistry you'll find a lot of problems which are directly taken up from the NCERT book, which you either know or you don't. There are a lot of problems in inorganic chemistry which you just have to tick. You either know them or you don't. And most questions in chemistry, for example, organic chemistry, physical chemistry may take a bit of time, but inorganic and organic, they don't require much of calculations, much of thinking. So the amount of time required for each question automatically goes down. So make sure that you don't spend more than 40 or 45 minutes in chemistry. If you spend say 1 hour or more, you'll end up wasting your time. You'll not be having time to solve mathematics and physics. So always try and finish off your chemistry section of the examination within 45 minutes. Another very important and a bit controversial topic is the art of making guesses. I don't actually encourage, no one encourages making guesses in the examination, but there are a few questions where you can take a calculated risk. For example, if you have managed to eliminate two options, let's say you have a question and you have successfully managed to eliminate two options, that these two options are for sure wrong, so you're just left with two more options to go for. Now there is 50% probability that if you take a chance, if you mark an option at random, there is 50% chance that it will be correct. And let's say there are 4 questions, and each of those 4 questions you have managed to eliminate 2 options. Now if you try and take a chance, if you at random mark any options in those 4 questions where you have successfully eliminated 2 options, even if there's 50% probability, let's say you have correctly marked 2 of those and unfortunately you have gone wrong in the remaining 2. So even if you mark 2 of those correctly, you'll still end up gaining 6 marks, because 8 marks for those 2 correct answers and -2 for those 2 remaining wrong answers. So the point is, if you manage to eliminate 2 options out of 4, go for it. Take a chance, and I'm sure the gamble would pay off. Now let me show you an example. I'll just show you how you can use the art of dimensional analysis and eliminate 2 options. Now in this question, in this particular question, you've been asked to find the EMF which is induced across the terminals of this rod. Now this is an extremely easy question. I guess most of you would be able to solve this problem. It just requires simple requires simple electromagnetic induction concepts. But still, for some reason, let's say you're not able to solve this problem. So if we try and analyze the dimensional formula, we know that the dimensional formula of EMF is MA minus 1 L square T minus 3. MA minus 1, I'm sorry, bear with my handwriting, MA minus 1 L square T minus 3. This is the dimensional formula for EMF. But if you closely observe these two options, A and B, these two options have a completely different dimension as compared to the dimension of EMF. So we can straight away reject these two options. So we are left with C and D. So if you go by what I said, you can take a chance. You can go for a guess. There is 50% probability that you'll end up marking the correct option. And if there are 4 such questions where you have successfully managed to eliminate 2 options, you'll for sure end up with some positive marks, unless and until you don't have an extremely bad fortune. This was just one trick which you may use for eliminating options. There are multiple such tricks which are available on the internet. So make sure that you are familiar with such tricks. They act as a secret weapon for solving problems. Now there are some mistakes which you need to avoid while you are attempting the JEE examination. The first mistake, which I made n number of times and ended up making the same mistake during my actual JEE mains examination, is that I was always in a hurry to solve problems. You make sure that you read the entire question. You don't just read half of the question and start solving the problem. The paper setters of JEE are extremely crafty, they'll try and trick you into wrong answers. So make sure that you have read the complete problem and you understood the problem. Another problem which I always faced during my preparation is that I made so many silly mistakes. Those mistakes were literally extremely frustrating. It's a long list of mistakes. I probably need a separate video for the silly mistakes which I made during my examination. Mistakes like not dividing by 2, taking the wrong LCM, marking the wrong option. I arrived at the right answer, but I don't know, for some reason I ended up marking the wrong option. I actually wanted to mark A option, but I ended up marking some other option. So these are mistakes which really frustrate you, and you cannot really eliminate those mistakes completely. What you can do is just minimize those mistakes. You cannot take the silly mistakes to zero. You can just minimize those, and the way to minimize is to give enough mock tests and analyze them. So my advice would be to note down all the silly mistakes which you made. Just go through those mistakes every week or every 2-3 days, so that you are aware during the actual examination that I don't have to make this mistake which I made during my practice. So these are small tricks which can help you boost your score. So thank you very much guys for watching this video, and if you think that this video helped you, do subscribe to my channel, like it, share it. It really helps the YouTube algorithm. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.